1978, a Triumph Spitfire 1500, 4-speed overdrive this one. And one of the nicest sounding Spitfire engines I've heard for a long time on this. Pageant blue, I believe, with a white roof, really nice colours. Sits nice and level as well. Bodyweight wise, we're going to start off the bonnet, work our way around this lovely Triumph, onto the engine, interior, and then we'll go for the engine startup. On the bonnet itself, lovely and tidy, no big dings, no big dents, no nasty marks at all. One or two little bits of dust in the paint, but overall very, very pretty, shiny, presentable. You'd be happy to put that on your local car show, that's for sure. Up towards the scuttle at the back there, we've got no corrosion. It's lovely and tidy all the way around the scuttle. Like I say, one or two little imperfections in the paint if you're being very, very harsh. But again, your nose is touching that to notice anything like that. Windscreen's lovely and clear as well. As you come down that left-hand side front wing there, part of the bonnet, it's obviously had some money spent on it. You'll see around the lights are lovely and clear, no complaints there. The front bumper is nice and tidy all the way across, a tiny bit of pitting on that left-hand side corner. But as you come across, all nice and straight with some very, very minor pitting to the front bumper. But again, depends how harsh you want to be. Coming round onto the right-hand side, nice, correct, painted steels all the way around, nice and fresh with the Triumph centre caps. Lovely and tidy up the driver's wing, a tiny, tiny little car part and dent there on the driver's wing top of the bonnet there. Lovely, that sort of clamshell. Around the arch, no corrosion coming through, lovely and straight all the way around that arch as you come down onto the lower half section of the cylinder. See, it's all nice and blue, there's no nasty stone guard lines halfway up the door. Around the bonnet hinge, nice and tidy with a tiny, tiny little bit of bit paint flex there to the top of the hinge, which is pretty standard on these Spitfires. Now, I will say one thing, for a Spitfire, the gaps seem to be all good to me. All the doors closed nice and tidy. You're not slamming anything, they're not bouncing back over. And even the bonnet, when you click it down and put your latches down, you know you've closed the bonnet. Down the front of the driver's door, got one or two little touch-ins just on the front edge there, just where it must have clipped at some point. Across the lower half of the door, no corrosion coming through. As you come up the door, it's lovely and shiny, nice and fresh. Wing mirror is all good as well, no cracks in that. Around the handle, no heavy scratching and no big chips out the back edge of the door there, but we had a little bit of a touch in at the top. Coming back onto the rear quarter, right-hand side, and again, no corrosion coming around the arch. Lovely and tidy all the way around that arch, nice and fresh. Down the rear quarter with no big dings or dents, nice body lines all the way around this one. Across the top of the scuttle on the right-hand side, right to left, yeah, all nice and tidy with a few little bits of dust in the paint there. No corrosion or nasty marks around the fuel filler cap. Lovely and straight as you come back over the boot lid itself. Nice and tidy all the way across the boot lid. Again, one or two little bits of dust in the paintwork, but your nose has to be touching to notice that there's no heavy scratching. There's no light paint or burn throughs anywhere. Rear lights are lovely and clear all the way across. No moisture in them at all. Rear bumper is going to want re-chroming or some slightly heavier pitting. My only sort of real fault with this car is the rear bumper. The rest of it's all very, very more than presentable, to be honest with you. It's obviously been painted at some point and they've done a very, very nice job. Very usable job, this one. It's not over-restored. As you come around that rear arch, again, no corrosion coming through. Lovely and tidy all the way around the rear arch. No complaints to that at all. Rear quarter is dead straight. Coming forward onto the front passenger door, and again, lovely and tidy across the front door. No black stone guard lines halfway up the door, anything stupid like that. It is as good as it looks on the camera, this one. Lovely and tidy down the back edge of that passenger front door, sorry. No chips out the front edge or the rear edge. Coming forward onto the clamshell again, lovely and tidy around that left-hand side front arch with a little bit of a touch in there at the bottom of the front arch there. And a tiny, tiny little mark on the front corner of the arch there. I don't know if it's a burn through in the polish or if it'll polish off. It's a tiny, tiny little scuff there, but if I hadn't pointed it out, you wouldn't have noticed it. And a tiny little bit of bubbling, just a little bit of a spider's web there on that left-hand side front clamshell there. I'm loving the white roof, that's really nice and tidy. There's a few light marks where it's been folded away on the roof. The windows are all crystal clear all the way across, no heavy creasing in there, no rips, no tears, nice and waterproof. And more importantly, it's lovely and tight all the way across the front edge of the roof. Onto the interior now. Bit of a click on the door, pretty standard on a Triumph. Lovely and tidy on the door card. The seat itself's in fantastic condition. No rips or tears at all to the seats. Lovely and fresh there. When you sit on it, you're not sitting on the floor either. Steering wheel's nice as well. Aftermarket motor steering wheel there, not too small. A nice size, that one. Dials are all nice and clear. Dash top's all unmarked as well. Inside of the roof looks to be nice and tidy. Into the boot now. Nice and tidy in there with your spare wheel. Boot floor looks good. All nice and clean and dry in there as well, more importantly. A little bit of a touching of the paint there. I'm sure it is Paget blue. Lovely and tidy in the boot floor, no complaints. Even the backs of the panels the backs of the panels are all nice and tidy as well. Left hand side front, nice and tidy on the door again. Another click to the door strap. Dashboard got a tiny little mark to the wood there on the left hand side, but the dash top's all lovely and fresh, no cracks in that. And once again, no real wear at all to that left hand side front seat. Carpet set's nice and black. Gaiters are all good. Armrests are nice as well. And when you shut the door, you're not having to slam anything, it closes perfectly. Into the engine bay, again, nice and tidy across the bulkhead there, all nice and straight on the inside panels. Lovely and tidy across the engine bay. It's a 1500cc 4-speed overdrive twin carb, this one. James, would you do the honours there? Fire straight into life, that little bit of choke is cold. Sounds really, really nice. Little rev here. Really nice. We have got the choke on there, she is cold. We're not going to start revving it all the way up. Sounds lovely, that one. Nice and happy on the tick over. And there you have it, a very, very pretty Triumph 1500 with the white roof 4-speed overdrive.